Okay.
Just got a text. It's from a Navy veteran I know, that I know. Her name is Jessica. She's been having a lot of channeling, including stuff with like hostages, alien hostages, and um, I think he said Russia or something. And she just texted me earlier. I didn't see it. Are you able to talk? I got contacted by alien beings called Arcturians about using codes for healing. They will be teaching me soon. I heard that before from people. And Arcturians, the beings I talked to, talk about them. It took me months to figure out what the word Arcturian meant. Then I saw them. They're these blue things. I have a picture. I can send it to you right now if you want. I found other people who had experiences with them, and they look the exact same as the beings I saw. And there's a description. I can't remember. I think it might have been a military person. And um, that when I met these beings, I was in tears when I came to, and I felt them hug me. And they were the ones who showed me what would happen, what nuclear war looked like. Hmm. That was
That
in
could be
2023, 2022, something, 2023 beginning.
that'd be like both incredibly interesting and terrifying all at the same time.
I'm sending you the picture right now because they really look like this. Because I texted my girlfriend, and she's a therapist, so she tells me if I sound crazy or not. And I told her everything this like right after it happened, and it was during the day, by the way. So check out these pictures. Yeah, okay, so I know I sent you a lot. A lot is happening, and I can explain it too when you're ready. You start off while I send this to you.
Oh man, I don't even know really where to begin. There's just been so much this week. I've been watching a lot of your videos, so I decided to try and do one of those the other uh, morning when I had time. It took me till later that evening to get it edited and actually uploaded. But I wrote my notes down from it right here. But I had never tried with my particular recorders specifically.
It won't work.
Yeah,
I'll send the pictures to you for people later.
oh, I got it.
Yeah, so yeah, do you want to start by talking about, more about your recording? Because I've been getting those messages for a long time.
Yeah, so I have two recorders. I have to get both of them right here. I actually got a new one just in case this one does have some issues. But this is the one I've always had the best
I
with
have one.
ghost hunting and everything. This one has always been my most sensitive, the one that picks up everything. And I've had a lot of issues, quote unquote issues, with it too, where there was a gal who was suffering from a haunting in her home, and most of her sounds, voices, and things would happen at night. And so I gave her that recorder to just record in the evening, and she'd turn it off when she got up. And when she gave it back to me, I couldn't upload anything. I couldn't take anything off of it. I could listen to it, but I couldn't put it in my audio things that I like to use to amplify and slow things down, put it in reverse. And so I used both of these recorders. I used the Olympus one first. Well, I had them both running at the same time, but I listened to the Olympus one first, and it had voices saying, "Just me, just believe." There
Wait,
was
I have to tell you something. So this is
mhm.
something I teach everybody. The Celestials literally taught me, and it's all recorded. So I have proof. Why recorders work, how they work. And so did you ever bless it? Because they've always made me bless all my recorders, all of my equipment before and after everything. And then when I had, there was a private detective who gave me just so many cases of equipment, and one had a DR60, the exact same two that you just showed me, and some other ones. I had 4 Panasonic DR60s. Now I have 3, and all at the same time, recording simultaneously. And I said, okay, I listened to them all, and I was like, then I went back into session. I was like, well, why does this one sound more clear and this one's more staticky? Why is this one, not really much on there? And they told me it's in the wiring. They also told me, and this was years and years ago, it's particular frequencies and how high frequency you are, but also, which has to do with photons and light that we project out. Like, it's kind of like auras, but different. And then they told me a year or two ago, what did they say? Oh, they told me that they intercept the government's radio frequencies and stuff too. I recorded that too.
That
Yeah.
would be nice.
Yeah. Well, not just on the radio, but with TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's all on there. It's all on
Yeah.
YouTube.
The only thing we always say like blessings or prayers like in the specific areas that we do stuff in, but I've never specifically like prayed over or blessed any of my equipment. So
Yeah,
I have never tried that before.
it works.
Okay, that's good to know.
They have a big hand in that. And the more that the beings of light, which are different kinds, are around you during the blessing, the more it records.
Mm-hmm.
Or that will happen around you too. Like the other day when I was getting frustrated right here going over one of the sessions, and they said stop and record it. And I tried to put it right there where that Ghostbusters cereal box is. And they said, no,
Mm-hmm.
put it over there. So I did. And this big, huge, it's called a celestial cord, appeared on the camera. Never seen that before. So, yeah. But anyway, it might help.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to put that on my notes as well. But as I went through it, I was able to first listen to the Olympus recorder, which said just me, just believe, laugh. And there was a weird part towards the end that said hated. And then it sounded like most hated and then very faintly president.
That's
But
so weird because the other day, did you see the EVPs I got?
yeah.
The same thing.
And it was, the president part, like I didn't put it in the actual video because I was like, is this what it's saying?
I was scared too. Remember, I was texting you about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really scared right now. I don't want to. I went over the same tiny little EVP audio track for hours, just over and over.
Mm-hmm.
You said it in yours. Remember, I didn't know about yours at the time. And that's when you told me I have something to show you. And now I saw it today and I'm like,
Yeah. And the only other parts were on that one specifically was you're the chosen one. Let me put this on.
yeah, so I don't know if you remember, but they've been saying that a lot to me and about other people, and they said it about you to me since 2022. I mean, they would say you are chosen by the God, the Creator, Jesus Christ and God have a plan. Excuse me, and that's what I was telling you in the pilot Beyond Extracelestial. I was like, I just haven't told you yet.
Mm-hmm.
But they already beat me to it because I was like, can you please just tell him for me and then I'll talk to him because it's crazy.
Yeah. And then on the second recorder, you can just hear it wouldn't let me just put it on the computer. It wouldn't let me put it in my recording equipment that I use to amplify anything or do any of that. But you could hear whisperings and people talking, like very, I don't want to say clearly, but it was like it was It was voices for sure.
Yeah, Ed and Lorraine used to call it the Magic Whispers. They used to talk to Tony Sparrow about it, and Judy.
Mm-hmm.
Judy's their daughter, you know them.
Mm-hmm.
And but in my research, when I asked the Celestials, after years and years and years of hearing that every single day, all year, and I mean literally every single day, I was like, man, what is that? And like I was trying to figure it out for a long time. I had my old apprentice on there trying to figure it out. They told me, they're like, we are speaking to you from God's pyramid in the garden. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then they showed me there's like this, it's like they started teaching me about this galactic council,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like this big it's almost like a thing of a pool of water. I wrote about like different kinds of gateways and portals. It goes back into like ancient times and Rome and all that stuff. Different reflective surfaces you can communicate through. It should be in the paranormal book that I wrote and the New Orleans one, but this is like really weird. They all stand around in a circle on this craft, this off-world vehicle, spaceship, Star Wars. Anyway, and they all talk. But what happens is they use frequencies to communicate. It is the weirdest thing, and what it does is it picks up everything. So they all talk amongst each other, and every time I would ask a question, they do that, and then one designated speaker would speak, which is why it would go back and forth from males and females to really divine celestial voices, very deep, really frightened a lot of people, to very anthropomorphic, humanoid voices. So that's what you're hearing, as far as I know. And you need to know these things so you don't go, so you can jump ahead. Come on.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And then I can't remember if I said this part earlier, but at the end of the first recorder, it said, just prepare for the end of times. And that was the only like full sentence that I got, but it was very like, you can hear it. It wasn't like, is this there? Is someone listening? It was there. And you could hear it.
Classic, undeniable. And I know you said you went over it just repeatedly for like 30 minutes and
Yeah.
slowed it down, sped it up. I know how it is. They've been telling me about the end times since 2020, and all that stuff's out there still. And I was like, end times, and I asked them, what does this mean? They said the world is going to end. Get your Bible. They kept telling me to read my Bibles. Then they tell me about prophets. Then they tell me about Antichrist. They tell me about all the omens, and the omens are, they tell me fires, earthquakes, war, blood, famine, the four horsemen, all this stuff, right? Well, then they said, when I was like, I really kind of got like really, I don't know if I was depressed, because I was like, oh God, 3 days of darkness, all this stuff. I asked them, I was like, when is this happening? Or I quit. I don't want to be no prophet. I don't want to do any of this anymore. I'm going to disappear from social media. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And they said, they finally answered me after 2 years of talking about it. And they said, in your lifetime. They said, God forbid them to tell me the date, even though I'm a prophet to them, but our world is going to end in my lifetime. And they said, and it's all on YouTube. Everything I tell you is documented. You know that. But they said, and I think I put it in the pilot, Beyond Extracelestial. They said, so I was like, I'd figure out more, I'd read more, I'd go and learn what they wanted me to learn. And then I'd ask more questions. Or they would come to me and be like, it's time, let's talk. And then they said, what this means is that this world is ending, and it's a monstrosity. They said if they gave a warning to the government, that's on my channel. They said if any of the narcs touch my prophets, God's prophets, armies will march out of heaven and basically destroy them. And I was like, oh my God. So that's still on there. And they said other worlds are going to open. I was like, what does that mean? and they said worlds from other galaxies are coming. And that's, and before that, they were teaching me about crop circles, how those are portals. They said those are portals. They said they maneuver their, off-world vehicles, UFOs, spaceships, all that stuff with starlight. Um, Told me kind of like the mechanics of all that stuff. And they told me that, 2 years, and then like a year or two later was when they started flying up, and I touched these things, but some are just completely luminous light. It's like some are completely encapsulated by different colors of lights. And these pictures I sent you, I can't believe it. I just found this past week. I screenshotted it. Some like military people release these pictures, and I'll post them on Instagram too. But it's pictures of beings that people have been abducted by or seen, civilian citizens and military forces, army forces, navy forces, all that. And then next to the pictures of what these beings look like, which some of them I have met, some of them I'm talking to. They're known as Pleiadians, Arcturians, some other kinds, grays. It's a lot. I have a picture of a gray. I mean, they're little things. And all the EVPs I release about the grays and Pleiadians, when they say I am Pleiadian, when I'm like, introduce yourself for the world if I'm going to release this. But next to those pictures of the beings is the different ships, spaceships, UFOs, off-world vehicles. I have seen almost all of those, and I have pictures and videos of almost all of those all over the United States, whether I lived there or I was just traveling there for my work. And they're in my books and on my website. You see all the different shapes, like there's the triangles, there's the tic tacs, there's the flying saucers, there's the ones that are luminous, just light. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm gonna post the picture.
It is really interesting though to look at them.
It is, and I screenshotted it from a guy on TikTok who's started uploading these things. And guess who sent me TikTok? The Celestials. They're the ones, they send me stuff on there all the time. I'm not kidding. It's uncanny. I know how it sounds.
Oh no, you're good. I just keep looking at all these different shapes. I just want to show. I wish I could like screen share this on here. But
I wish you could too. Well, we can post it to our Instagrams. What am I, Emilia Busse files or Emilia X files? I can't remember. I can't get to it and post in these screenshots. That's sad. I don't remember.
I will have to do that too, though.
Yeah, if you look at the pictures, you see the blue. It's called the blue people, and she has like a dot right here. They introduced, when I saw them, they touched me. And they were so calm. I remember when they abducted me and I was on the craft, I never forgot what that room looked like. And they hugged me. There was people there, the ones that looked like Pleiadians with blonde hair. I remember telling my girlfriend, like, oh my God, I saw different beings there. I don't know how to explain them. And they showed me what it looks like after with it. And that's when I started sharing number 5 from Umbrella Academy. And I even posted a video of that on Instagram to show people this is the closest thing I could find. I was standing right there, and all the way around me, smoke, fire. It looked like it was sand, or like sand and dust everywhere. You could see buildings crumbled everywhere. And then it got really hardcore to where these beings started to contact people I didn't know and leaving voicemails. I call them ET voicemails, ET frequency voicemails. And you can't call the phone number back. It's the weirdest thing. And they're talking about reincarnation, nuclear war, the government paradox. And that's all on my Instagram and YouTube. And at the end of it, he says, "Find my daughter, Emilia Busse." And he always says that, this commander of the fleets always calls me daughter, which is weird because when I was really little, I used to tell my mother, and I wrote about this in my books, that I could see her and my biological father before I was in her womb, and I shot through this light and was in her womb, and I could hear their voices through the womb. And she got pregnant with me before she was even married. Um, from what I understand from that whole experience, and that just reminds me of all the alien stuff, with even Jesus Christ. When I was asking about that, they talked about how he was a hybrid implanted by the aliens, and that's why Mary was a virgin. They said the same thing when they told me about the chariot. They said the creator took him up. There's been times where they come right in here telepathically and they say, Genesis 6, read that, and I would read it while I was sitting at the car shop getting ready to drive across the country to do more of this work. And it had to do with all these things in Ezekiel. This is just, I think this is really happening because everything they've ever said is happening. Every vision they've given me, everything they've ever said that I've recorded, all of it, it's coming. And then I just don't know what to do. And no matter what, TVs will come on and they'll say, give the message to the world. People are getting the ET frequency voicemails, find, and at the end of it, find Emilia Busse. And I never thought it would be anything. I was like, oh, just send it to me. I'll go over it. I thought I really was just going to blow it off. But I was just like, oh, I'll just add this into my schedule real quick. So I would just go. And I'm like, oh my God. There's these beings on these voicemails talking about nuclear war, the end of times. This is coming through every piece of technology.
And that's what we're seeing too. Even when we watch the news, we're seeing other countries bombing other countries and preparing for war, or preparing to also bomb other countries or certain areas. It's inevitable at this point.
And the floods and hurricanes, they told me about HARP again. And I didn't know what HARP was. It's HAARP. When I thought it meant harps, like the end of times, but they said that's the trumpet age or stage or something. And I recorded all that. And they said we're in the trumpet age or something, or stage, I don't know. But the HARP thing, they said NASA too. So I looked it up and I just Googled it.
That's what I'm just doing right now.
It's a weather controlling machine. And they told me that too. It controls weather. And I'm like, what? Do you see? This is insane. This is crazy.
It is. It also has different scientific endeavors aimed to studying the properties and the behavior of the ionosphere. Okay.
There was a whole thing I saw on it. And then a lot of people started commenting. They were like, they don't mean HARP. They don't mean HARP like, the harps. Those things. They mean, everyone kept spelling it. I was like, man, everyone's spelling it wrong. This is really on Google.
Yeah, and I just looked up because it was talking about the ionosphere and studies in that area. And the ionosphere is, according to Google, a layer of electrically charged gas particles in Earth's upper atmosphere. My thing started going when I was talking about it. That's responsible for reflecting and modifying radio waves for communication and navigation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going off again.
And today they told me too that HARP is what's causing all these hurricanes, and that They said the government's serious. I recorded it. I recorded them saying that. I posted it. This is horrible. This is just
Yeah.
yeah.
Deep. Oh. It's just so interesting to me. I'm going to have to do all this research on HARP later, but we have a hello from Captain Quinn.
Hi, Captain Quinn. Oh, cool picture. Oh, that's cool that you can post that on there.
It's nice using the YouTube option because we can actually share what people are saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you on your YouTube right now? Is it live streaming? I'm missing everybody over there.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me attach on our group one still.
Our YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I just have to play around with it some more and get it to attach the right way.
Posting you now. I don't know. I mean, all this stuff, like, this is really happening to me, Ben. I'm serious. I don't want to be alone anymore.
No, I understand. Do you want to talk about any of the recordings that you got this morning?
Yeah. So I posted them on Emilia Busse X Files on YouTube and both of my Instagram pages. I'm going to compile them with what you got that you sent me this morning and put it on Extracelestial. It's good to have backups anyway.
I'm going to share those links to the comments real fast.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I remember Aliens Explored, Captain Quinn. It is still one of my very favorites. I still have to catch up, though.
Sure. Almost done. I'm just sharing this, and then you know me, I'll get into talking.
You're good. My internet is starting to also be stupid as well.
It's not going to kick you, is it?
What's that?
It's not going to kick you off, is it?
I don't know, because it shows full internet, and then all of a sudden it'll drop down to one bar when we start. And it's literally when we start talking about specific things is when my internet starts trying to go out.
Aliens, help. And yeah, I can get my recorders if you want to hear them right now. It's constant. I can talk to them any day, any night. They keep saying I'm their hybrid. It's a lot of stuff that I deal with. I mean, it's just I know how it sounds. That's why I have all the proof out there. I just record them every day when flying up. Just telling everybody to join.
Sorry, I'm just trying to respond to our comments as well while
That's
I'm
okay.
multitasking.
There. Yeah, I mean, this morning, so they'll go and find missing people for me. They'll go and tell me if somebody died. All sorts of stuff. These celestials, they call themselves Arcturians, Pleiadians. They tell me about the Greys. They tell me before big world bad events happen every single time. Because sometimes I text you and I'm freaking out. And it's just very overwhelming. I hear them, and the frequency. I call it the frequency. That's when they alert me, and they say, "Stop what you're doing. I just know what to do. They're training me. They're like, I have to stop what I'm doing. I sit down, I get my voice recorders, my cameras, and I record them. And they'd say, okay, this is going to happen. This bridge is going to fall, or this church is going to explode. These things have happened, by the way. They told me Russia was going to attack Ukraine and the war was going to start. That happened. They told me COVID. They didn't say COVID. They said there's going to be a virus that's going to attack the planet and all this stuff, and to kill it through fire and all these things. And it happened. They said quarantine is coming. And they said earthquakes, floods, fires, like catastrophic ones. They told me about this happening, this situation with Helen, and they're telling me HARP did it, the HARP thing, which I was like, what is that? And they're like, it's the government's using it to control weather. And it's on Google and all this stuff. And then, they told me,
Sorry.
bless you. They said they keep saying we're going to go to nuclear war and they can't stop it. They said they found 1,000 nuclear bombs in one of the icebergs in the Arctic. They told me about the tunnels and the child trafficking, and they all these things. I was reading his comment. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it all out. There's a lot. I just record celestials, aliens. I record them when they fly up to my 100-foot tower, 7,500 foot, I don't know. I record them talking every day. They're doing that. I usually just sit in here and I just hold up the recorder and they do it. They tell me how they. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Ben, why don't you talk about what you've seen as someone, as a witness, from your perspective, because that's usually what gets me going, because I've got thousands of files in my head and everything I talk about is released to the public on my YouTube. I have more, a little bit more on my website, paranormalprofessional.com. They told me to write books, which they said it's transcripts. They said write every single file. Just like in court, they type everything you say and write everything you say. It's the same thing, transcripts. Every question that I recorded and every single word verbatim, even if it didn't make sense, EVP. And the EVP is electronic voice phenomena. It's one word. I'm an audio analysis, electronic voice phenomena specialist. That's what I do. And I've been trained by these beings. And, when they give me a command or a task, no matter where it is in the country, even if I don't know where someone is, I go and I find them, I do it, or I give messages to the world. They even told me about this avian flu thing, April 4th, 2023, and now that's coming out. And the only other person that I have found who talks to these beings, and we have the exact same information, because he was told to write a book and only published half of it. It's called Rays of Light. His name is Ray. He goes by Ray, and he is the one that's constantly being interviewed by Jason Shurka when I was writing these ET frequency books. That's what it's called, ET frequency. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think I did the 4th one. It's all disclosure that I was told to do by these extraterrestrials. He has the exact same information. Sometimes I would post we would post, we don't know each other. We would post at the exact same time the messages we were both commanded by PLS, the light system. That's what they're called, the light. We were told to post and tell the world the exact same things in the exact same hour. Sometimes I would post it first and then they would come out about it. And it's a lot. So but they told me I was not allowed to write about Ray or Jason in the books. They said, well, the government would collect it. So I got some weird stuff happening to me. Let me use the powder room real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh, no, you are good.
You talk to them about, I'll be right back.
Okay, you're good. Well, I guess it's just me for just a minute. So I'm just going to talk to Captain Quinn while I'm sitting here. Emilia needed to take a break real fast. But yeah, I used to watch a lot of the ghost hunting shows too myself. Would you prefer I call you Peter? Is that what you're saying your name is? If it is, I did not know that, but I will call you that if that's what you prefer. But yeah, I watched a lot of ghost shows as well for a long time before I actually started diving into paranormal investigations and ufology and all of that kind of stuff. Well, it's nice to meet you officially, Peter. But the ones that I have always preferred to work with and to help are those ones that are suffering from those kinds of problems and those kinds of issues when there are legitimate hauntings going on in people's homes, businesses. I've done a lot in businesses, and I dove mostly into private investigations because it was better that way. I didn't have to deal with the people that are in the paranormal field that are just trying to get their name out there or to fake evidence. Or I mean, there was people that were making their own devices with secret buttons in their pockets so they could just set them off whenever they wanted, when they were asking questions or when they were doing things. And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm not going to be a part of this anymore. But yeah, thank you for joining us today, Peter. I'm going to add Emilia back on here now. Looks like she's back. I got you back.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah. So basically, the majority of my work is just all extraterrestrial contact. I've even documented when they said they were going to abduct me. And that night I had experiences. I saw the purple lights, and they showed up. I was sleeping in this room, and they showed up in my corridor that night. And I couldn't wake up the person at the time that I was with. I'm not with anyone now, so I'm alone in here in my home all the time. But at that time, a couple of years ago, I could not get him to wake up. And I saw these beings I described to a friend of mine on the Travel Channel, who was mentored by Don Schmidt and her partners, Ben Hansen. And I told Brittany what they looked like, and she said they're the tall whites. And showed me pictures. I mean, I really have learned a lot about what I'm like. That what I've seen, what I've real, and it's been happening since I was a kid. But they talk about hybrids and DNA, and I have a lot of knowledge on this now. My biggest concern, though, is all the end time stuff and what we have to prepare for. And they're talking about taking us, certain people, off this planet to the planet where they said they're harvesting all this stuff from this planet. They're taking to that planet, and it's one of them's in the Big Dipper. Is they told me names of that, and I thought it was a different language. And I remember telling Brittany, and she's like, "Let me show you a picture." She sent me a picture because I was like, "What's Doobie? What's Merrick? What's this? Like, is it another language? Am I hearing this right? Is this just me not doing a good job?" And she's like, "No, you need to see this." And that's what the names of them were. Yeah.
Man, it's so much to take in. Sometimes I find myself literally forgetting what I'm listening to because I'm trying to soak it all in at once. But there's so much to soak in.
I know. Me too. Me too. You want me to see, as long as the traffic's not too loud, because that can override. That's the only thing is I always have to have a quiet room or sitting in my truck. Like when I'm driving across the country, I've recorded them in almost every single state, everywhere I've ever gone. From the second I wake up to the second I go to bed, anytime I want. They said I can reach cosmic realms and other dimensions, and I have this ancient extraterrestrial blood and DNA, and then I'm the mother of all these hybrid children and all this stuff. Yeah, I know how it sounds. That's why I record them saying it.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy, but I don't know. You want me to do it?
Yeah, if you want to, we can, and I'll mute myself so I don't give you any feedback.
Okay. Good. Okay. Hope this is the right one. I'm using the loudest one out of all three. Angels, Protector, and the Eight. Can you say Emilia and Ben to everyone watching? Will you please speak? Go ahead. So I'll get my other recorder too, because that's the one I record paragraphs on. But it got something.
Angels, Protector, and the Eight. Can you say Emilia and Ben to everyone watching? Will you please speak? Go ahead.
The light. They spoke before that, but one more, okay? Because the traffic, it has to be quiet in here. But my other one does paragraphs. Okay. Can you please speak for me? What do you have to say to everybody listening? I don't know if you guys can hear all that traffic. I'm going to get my other recorder and show you the difference between them after I replay these.
Can you please speak for me? What do you have to say to everybody listening?
Okay, let me go back. I'm going to replay them both.
Angels, Protector, and the Eight. Can you say Emilia and Ben to everyone watching. Please speak. Go ahead.
Second one.
Can you please speak for me? What do you have to say to everybody listening?
Like, now usually it's full paragraphs. Let me grab the other recorder, okay? Can I do that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm pretty sure I heard it say Emilia in that first one.
I'll slow it down too. And I thought it said Emilia and Ben. I haven't used that recorder in like months, so. But that one I use when it's emergency and I like need them to talk like right then and there and not have to analyze it. So the more I use it, the more they come through. Okay, mute yourself. Gosh, I hope the traffic doesn't pick up. This is why I do it in the back room. Ready?
Mhm.
Angels Protector, the 8. Celestials. What do you want everyone to know? Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Thank you, Celestials. They'll talk for a while. They'll talk until I stop it. Usually I know when to stop it. This one's more faint. Sometimes it's very clear.
Sector the 8. Celestials. What do you want everyone to know? Okay, I'm going to stop it there.
So I'll play it again. This is what I do all day, every day. Especially when they call and I hear the loud pitched frequency sound and they say we're flying by. I analyze it. It's paragraphs. Then I go back in. Sometimes I get most of that right here. So here it is again.
Sector the 8. Celestials. What do you want everyone to know? Okay, I'm going to stop it there.
Okay, now hold on. I have all 3 of them here, but can you say nuclear war for me, please? Thank you. They call me their prophet, so they say we can talk all the time whenever we want because I give all the messages. But remember, these are noise detection activated. They do not record unless it detects voice, and you hear how quiet it is. They spoke.
Can you say nuclear war for me, please? Thank you. Can you say nuclear war for me, please? Thank you.
Hold on. Can you say nuclear war clearly and slowly for me, please? You say Ben's name clear as possible for me so I don't have to put my analysis on it. Thank you. I'm so sorry about all the traffic. So I go to the back.
Say nuclear war clearly and slowly for me, please. Can you say Ben's name clear as possible for me so I don't have to put my analysis on it?
I don't know. It's not very clear.
Can you say nuclear war clearly and slowly for me, please? Can you say Ben's name clear as possible for me so I don't have to put my analysis on it? Can you say nuclear war clearly and slowly for me, please? Can you say Ben's name?
Nuclear was like nuclear war. That's what it sounded like.
Clear as possible for me so I don't have to put my analysis on it? Can you say nuclear war clearly and slowly for me, please? Can you say Ben's name clear as possible for me so I don't have to put my analysis on it?
See, when you put the analysis on it, it's clear, like the EVPs. Sometimes it's amazing, just right then and there, but yeah, so that's what I deal with. And I have these three.
I'm jealous. I've looked for those for so long. If you look for them on eBay, they're like $1,200.
Really, they used to be 3,000.
Yeah. They used to be three. I think the most I've ever seen one go for was $7,000.
Oh, but you don't need them to communicate. They communicate the exact same way the SB7, which I was showing earlier today. The radio, the TV, ET frequency voicemail. So make sure you have your voicemail set up. And then there's these other recorders that I use too. I just stick to these because they're just easier. I don't want to impact. I'll have to show those old sessions where I had all these electronics. Oh, and they come through in the room on these mics really good.
Hmm.
These mics. Remember when I told you that a long time ago?
Yeah, the super sensitive mics. Those ones are awesome. I don't have one of those. So I had an idea. I mean, I only have my dowsing rods right here. But I was just going to
I
see
love
if
that
I.
you use those. I've never had like good luck with that. I'm the nerdy side, I guess. You're like all metaphysical.
Yeah, yeah, I like all of the. I mean, the pendulums, the dowsing rods. That's where, even in our investigations, that's where we find like everything. Like, can you point in the room to where you are, and it'll point like right where we felt like absolutely disgusting, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because I've tried everything, right? So I leave these all three recorders running with this camera, with this microphone, with other voice recorders while I use in the past the talking boards, divinatory boards, Ouija boards, and the pendulums. Nothing at times would happen on the spirit boards while they would be speaking nonstop on this, saying, don't use it, stay away from the Ouija board. You'd hear growling in the room, and then on the recorder, it would say, there's a fallen angel in here. They would say, Emilia, pray. Emilia, wear your cross. You know, so their aliens are communicating through electricity and frequency. And this is literally me studying these beings and learning from these beings every day for years. Okay, years. While I see these other beings, I have pictures and footage of communicating physically. And it's just interesting. Oh, it's a Panasonic DR60. They stopped making them because in college, kids were complaining that they were getting too many voices on here. Another thing that happened, I knew these two guys, and when we were working together a long time ago, now I don't work with them. They're frauds. They use people for money and grief, but they sent, I think it was at least one or two of these recorders that they had with the EVPs on it. If you go to my YouTube, Emilia Busse X Files, you can hear these EVPs. It's just wild. There's thousands of files on there. Well, they sent it to the guy who worked with the president on, like, he was the highest audio tech in the country. He literally worked on stuff for the president. There's a whole documentary actually out there about what I'm telling you about. And he went over it. He called the guys back. I wouldn't call them gentlemen. They're in the paranormal though. And he said, don't ever call me again. Whatever is on there is not human. It is not. The guy kept saying it. It's not human. That is definitely speech. It's human speech. It is not human. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Auntie Key. And this guy was petrified. And he wouldn't say anything about extraterrestrials or aliens. And he said, don't ever contact him again. And he sent the recorders back to the guys. Yeah, if you go to YouTube, Emilia Busse X Files, and type in Ouija documentary, you'll see just a compilation. You'll hear aliens say, you are protected by angels. They said, don't run from this. I had all these technical issues. I'm a researcher, so I don't have a choice but to use these things. And I'm a high priestess, forensic audio analysis specialist. I'm an exorcist and a demonologist. I have to deal with it all globally in multiple countries. So, in order to document the best research possible, I have to put myself in the line of fire. And that's how I've collected some of the greatest, rarest research in the world, which is now recording aliens. Like, that's what I want to be known for. So
Who needs all of those other awesome things when you can do that?
watch it though. You'll hear growls. When I had to deal with a demon, I've dealt with many demons, children being dragged across the floor. As I've watched all your videos, Emilia, amazing info coming. Thank you. Thank you, the antique key. I'm trying to put the research out there because we don't have enough taught. I have traveled for the show, not for the show, for some of the guys, the tech guys on Ghost Hunters, the original, and then they changed the name to something and given lectures for their clients, like the Buckeye Charm. So that you'll see that on my YouTube because the tech guy, he said he looked up to me. He wanted me to train him how to do this stuff. A lot of people don't know how to do this stuff in the paranormal, and it's shocking. And then I had stuff for clients from the show, A Haunting. They're making a movie about one of my cases, which is about Debbie Moffat. And she went through Ed and Lorraine Warren and literally like so many people for like 30 years all over the world. And they were studied and everything. And she said, I brought, the most incredible evidence and more answers than anyone. And that's also on my YouTube. And then that led to a movie being made about the severity of their case. I don't know where it is right now in the works, but I'm not even where I don't like to get involved in that stuff. I do the job, I move on. I'm like a hermit. I like to stay that way. I deal with abductees and extraterrestrial stuff more than anything now. I've died, so I know what's after this. I had a baby in my womb at the time. And, I've recorded lots of the dead, spirits hovering in the air. I deal with literally everything. It just kept evolving over the past 30 years. And it's like, since I was a kid, and I write about it in the books, but working with priests, I had stuff sent to the Pope. I had stuff with Ed and Lorraine Warren's family that they looked at. I was at the banquets with that family. I did sessions for them, and they confirmed everything. I have gifts and abilities that I've been struggling with my whole life that now I know how to, access and manage. Bye-bye. Bye. It was nice to have company. Nice having people here. I'll keep sending people over here too. There's just becoming an exorcist, seeing animals and people flying across rooms. That's real. I've seen Ouija boards fly across the room. I know what demonic entities look like, smell like, sound like. Same with ethereal beings. You'll see pictures of angels with huge wings standing next to me. Yep. Oh, you're in UK. Oh, that's cool. I'd love to hear your story. And there's so many different aspects to this. It's such there's not enough education on the topic, which is why I wrote books. I gave lectures across the entire nation, globally in multiple countries virtually. You learn a lot when you're in the private settings and you don't have the cameras everywhere. I've worked with a lot of people on the Travel Channel. Nick Groff, Elizabeth Saint, Cindy Kaza, that Dave guy from Ghost Hunters. They all came out to Winchendon here in Massachusetts years ago, multiple times, at my historical society in one of our mansions. And because it's a 2-mansion property. And my friends are the presidents of it and the vice president and on the board and all that stuff. And then my other friend, she was a volunteer who was also a nurse, and I'm in the medical field. So, that's why it's on my website. It's all over Google. You can just Google Emilia Busse and it, I come up. Pictures. I have pictures of demons. They have shark-like teeth, huge cheeks. They are like textbook. They stink. I mean, it's the worst smell. I have pictures of children, anthropomorphic faces from diabolical properties. You can see it because you see the cat that's sitting on the porch right through this face. hovering celestial beings, a gray alien, multiple different crafts of, extraterrestrial crafts. There is so much to this. And what's interesting is that each one of these beings that I have talked to and had to face and confront and had to deal with things, they all talk about each other. They all acknowledge each other. Humans seem to be the only ones that only acknowledge ghosts or only acknowledge angels or only acknowledge the diabolical. No one really talks about aliens. And the ones that do talk about aliens, they don't really talk about, the otherworldly stuff. And then everyone assumes there's just evil spirits or just evil aliens. That is not the case. And I have been brought back to life by these beings. So they talk about me being 1/6 Phoenix blood. So I've been trying to figure that out. When they tell me about all these hybrids and star seeds, I learned the term star seed years ago. They said psychic abilities and all that is a part of being a star seed and with blood, and that they've been marked by God. Solar flares. They told me about solar flares. They brought up the Anunnaki, so I learned about the Anunnaki. That's all on my YouTube. It's back in November 2022. It was around that time. So they told me of solar flares when they showed me. I got really sick and dizzy when I saw this. It felt like they took me up. It was just awful. And they said solar flares are coming, and it's a part of some Anunnaki return. It's all on there. It's Aurora probes not seen as south, but never know. What is he talking about? Like the Marfa Lights when I went there? Aurora probes, I know that. That gets brought up to me a lot. Does he mean he doesn't mean those little drones, right? Thought of it before, but I wasn't sure. God, that comes up a lot. And usually I just ask the beings. I've asked thousands of questions. I've documented hundreds of thousands of EVPs, and remember, EVP is one word. I document paragraphs. You heard that earlier, Ben. Remember, 1 second, Ben, can have an entire sentence in it. The frequencies and the levels of which they communicate, it's just unbelievable. And see, I've thought of it before. And they have different voices. They communicate through photon frequency. So 1 second can have 3 paragraph or 3 sentences, or it can have 1 word, or it can have, they've never just given me 1 word ever. If you go through my files, it's all just, I'm asking yes or no questions at times, especially in the beginning when I started this research. But then it was always paragraphs. Sorry, he says it's solar high ATM, like the massive flare. There was one, I think, last night, and it causes a lot of physical stuff. The Celestials talked about Gaia being sick. They always said planet Earth, but they recently started calling her Gaia. And they said Gaia is sick, Emilia, and it's going to cause earthquakes, more flooding and things like this, and hurricanes and storms, all sorts of stuff. They're telling me about tsunamis that are coming. They said Providence. I was like, the town of Providence, or Providence, the word you taught me, which means protected by God's light, which you guys will hear in the Ouija documentary I produced, which is a compilation of everything. I literally only post evidence. I don't post any talking. I just post evidence and I explain it. They talk about Enoch. They talk about the 12 disciples. They talk about Jesus Christ. They talk about the different gods and goddesses in folklore and legend, like the Viking ones like Hecate, who can communicate with the heavens, the earth, and the underworld, and has light to guide the afterlife. And they said I'm related to her. That's why they tell me weird shit, like I'm the princess of Starlight. I'm like, oh my God. And I recorded it. I'm like, and he said, you are my daughter. I am infallible. I'm like, what are you? And I told them to prove themselves. I'm like, I'm on my tower. You guys would love my tower. I'm going to go live up there one of these days. I'm up there a lot. And I'm like, fly up. like, if I'm really your prophet and all these things, I know I've done all these amazing things, but to me, it's just my life. It's very normal for me. It's been like this my whole life. And I hate publicity, but I share it for a reason, to find answers mostly. But they flew up. It was incredible. Made all the power in town go out. Big, giant, orange, luminous lights. Sometimes they'll just go, it'll be like black with stars, and then you'll just see this bright light just come out and stop and sit there. I'm like, thank you. And then it'll just go back up. And I have it on film. I need to find it. I post a lot of stuff, and then I turn these recorders on, and you'll see that in the Anunnaki sessions and other ones on my tower. And they're like, we can't stop right now. We just flew by. We did this for the prophet, only for the prophet. And I'm like, are there other prophets? They said there are other prophets. There's like oracles and prophets. There's the chosen ones. They said to find the children of the 8, of the crystal light children. They've been teaching me about crystal light, the ancient arts of communicating with them. They taught me about hieroglyphs, all these different glyphs, and that my angel light and my will activate these glyphs. They said they put them on their flying off-world vehicles. And then I found out, like, there's actual FBI agents coming out about these glyphs on flying saucers and other things, and they touch these things too. I'm not the only one who's touched these things, because these beings let me touch these crafts. I just want to get it on camera, and they said I have to wait, but I can do that. And I think today they're saying, I don't know if you watched it. They said, Emilia, we're coming. The fleets are on their way. Stay strong. Keep fighting. All that stuff, right? The most recent last 3 sessions, and I think when they get here, from what they've been explaining to me privately, I'm going to be able to touch those things, because they said I'm going to have a commanding position, because they said I'm a hybrid, and and his voice came through. He's like, you are my daughter. I command the light. I take my orders from Jesus Christ. I recorded all that. That was March, April, May, June, July of last year, when the day that David Grush came out to Congress, I recorded all that, and I uploaded it right before they live streamed that. And they said they were watching Congress. I'm from Northeast England, and there's plenty of Old Norse evidence here. Yep. Yeah. That's my practices too. And I just don't like flaunt it or talk about it much anymore. But yeah, they tell me about Valkyries and the different Norse gods and goddesses. And I said they call me a goddess all the time, and a high priestess. And they say I don't remember my past life yet, but they're going to be giving the memories back to me, and that I'm related to Hecate. It was a lot. I recorded it. Everything I tell you, I recorded. I have to keep reminding
I know
you.
you did.
I'm not making this shit up. I promise. I'm not. I'm telling the truth.
Hey, it's looking like it might kick us off in a few minutes. So I'm gonna try some dowsing rod stuff real quick, if you don't mind.
Do it.
If anyone does have any questions, please put it in the comments, and I will ask those questions as well. Okay, I have to get my elbows up here. I only have really long ones, and they want to go the other direction that I'm not sitting, of course.
Let's see if they do it.
Okay. Oh, I guess I'll just start it the way I normally do. Hi, my name is Ben. I'm just here to talk to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, how to do, or who to be. I'm just going to ask you some questions. But first, I need to teach you how to use these. Can you cross the rods for yes if you understand? Okay, thank you. Can you leave the rods parallel for no? It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that don't use dowsing rods very much, but you can feel the energy in the front of your fingers, and it's just crazy to me. I feel it every single time.
No, it's true. I feel it when I use my recorders.
Okay, can you cross the rods again for yes if you understand? Very slowly.
And you're not even moving.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I'm kind of holding them up at an angle, though. I need to put them more straight. There we go. Okay. Are you glad that Emilia and I came to talk to you today?
They keep answering you with my flashlight, too.
Yes. Oh, my EMF's going off, too.
I know, I've been watching it.
Thank you.
You should ask them if they see any beings around me, because every time I ask that, stuff goes crazy.
Do you currently see any beings around Emilia right now? I can feel it wanting to move. I'm having a hard time holding my elbows up. There we go. Yes. Okay, thank you. Do you approve of this podcast that we are doing right now? Oh, that was a really fast yes. Okay, thank you.
It's disclosure.
Is this something that you're willing to assist us with? Yes. Okay, thank you.
I think we're getting a lot of assistance.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Do you see the 8?
Do you see the 8? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Do you see a total of 11?
Do you see a total of 11? It's really thinking about it. One of them's moving.
Yeah, I see that.
Let me ask that one again. I'm just gonna hold my hands a little different because I'm getting kind of shaky.
No, don't be
Okay.
shaky. It's okay, Ben.
Okay, come back up here. Okay, do you see 11? There, that was a yes.
Well, I have these EVPs where they said there
Okay,
are always 11 with you. What about blood? Does Ben have hybrid blood?
Does Ben have the hybrid blood? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Are Ben and I going to be abducted at the same time in the future?
Are myself and Emilia going to be abducted at the same time at some point in the future? You can't really see it, but the right one's just kind of moving, but the left one is staying still. So I think that's something that it's not willing to disclose at this time.
Yeah, I've been getting some stuff on that. So,
But you do want us to continue to get the word out. Yes, that was very fast. Yes.
my flashlight lighting up like crazy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? It looks like I think it's going to give us about 2 more minutes.
Are we being protected by the fleets?
Come back here.
I mean, I'm saying this, but I want to know.
Are we being protected by the fleets? It's coming back around now. There we go. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Really crossed. Yeah.
This other one wants to point behind me really bad.
I know, I see that.
All right. Is there something behind me? Yes. Okay, can you point in the room to where it is? Watch both of them. Yep.
Wow.
I'll wait for him to level up.
Is it
And
an
I'll
alien?
do-
Is it an alien? You should ask that because I've seen translucent. I've seen the grays on the ground and they're translucent. I have a picture.
Is it, are you an alien? Nope, that one was a no. They both shook like this.
Okay.
It wants to point over there again, though.
What? I wonder what it could be. What about an ancestor? It could be an ancestor.
Are you one of my ancestors? Yes. Oh, sorry, you probably couldn't see that cross.
That means it would probably be a guide that's standing behind you. I wonder if you ever pick up anything.
Are you my spirit guide? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty. I think it's going to kick us off here soon.
Okay.
Oh.
Good job, Ben. That was amazing.
But thank you, everyone, for coming and joining with us today. It was nice to be able to share some comments and answer some questions and have some conversation.
Yeah, it was. If y'all can y'all say bye to Ben and bright the flashlight super bright? Ben, it was really fun. Oh, look, it got really bright.
Wow.
They do that.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, the antique key.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Well, when I do spirit crossover sessions, I use that and the recorders, and it's a lot, very emotional with the living and the deceased relatives. But I'll tell you about it another time.
Okay. Well, I'll let you get back to the rest of your day as well.
You too. I'll probably blow up your phone, but no, I'm kidding.
That's fine. Go ahead. That's fine. Someone's got to do it. Might as well be you.
I know. Oh, you know me. It's going to be supernatural every second that I go. So, okay.
Okay.
Bye, Ben.
Bye. Yeah, have a good day.
You too. How do I do it? Bye, Captain Quinn.
Bye, Captain Quinn. Thank you.
Oh, exit full screen. Can you make that flashlight go off real quick? Like they're holding it there.
Right.
Seriously. I think they got really excited. They like you.
Oh,
We're Starseed siblings. Okay. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see ya. Okay, I hope to see you all guys again soon. And thank you, Captain Quinn, for hanging out with us. The Antique Key, Snuggie to you. I believe there was a couple others. But thanks for joining us. You all have a wonderful rest of your day.